principles of marriage, birth, celebration, coming of age, the passage of life into death, the eschatological, systems of the rebirth of one's soul, the possibility of eternal life, and everything that takes place, in that journey, if you will, in that rite of passage that we know to be life. How do I do what my ancestors did, which was to take those principles and to apply music and dance and song and prose and poetry, and create works of art which were reflective of the challenges and the rite of passage that we undergo, that we struggle, to discover and find the light, of our purpose, the light in our being, and our hope, and our faith, our imani, that the application of life and the understanding of light, and the regenerative principle of light and the healing nature of light complements its antithesis, which is darkness, right? That we are constantly striving to find ways to achieve light as we struggle to overcome darkness, the darkness of our experience. And yet at the same time, as within the African traditions, understanding that darkness is important because everything comes out of the womb of trickle darkness. How does one become the best of who? And that means that as we create as directors and choreographers and people specific, especially within the performing arts, that we not only have an obligation, but that we have this, if we become hopefully even just good, but we struggle to be adept, right, in what we do, that we create these things, man, which empower people, which leap into people's being, which make them one with the creation that they're seeing. And if we do it well enough, right, people's sense of self is lifted. They become lifted,
You are fortunate enough to not only be a dancer and a choreographer, but you're also a musician. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times you're a composer because you play for your music. Mm-hmm. You basically lead their drums, but it's still an orchestra. Mm-hmm. But usually you have multiple players with you, and you're leading this percussion orchestra mm-hmm. behind your movement.
Mm-hmm. But my first discipline was music. My father raised me to be a musician, and I entered the world of music at the age of 5. My first teacher, I think I've said this in a previous interview with you, but just as a brief recap, my first experience in the arts at 5 years old was the performing arts. And I actually started to take visual art and draw later on that year at the age of 5. But at 5, my father started me studying music, and my grandmother paid for the lessons, and I studied with Zelma White on 117th Street, 5th Avenue, a little tenement building on the first floor. And she had 2 pianos, and we came in and we learned Baroque, classical, neoclassical, romantic. Did I leave out something? Baroque, classical, neoclassical. I think I'm leaving out some.
But you were that same though. I want people to know that. See, you are a New York native and a Harleman.
Right.
And so when we talk about, when I hear you talk about music lessons on 117th Street.
We are the richest of Harlem.
Yes, and